Hello people and welcome to this Crusader Kings 2 startup tutorial, and today we're going to talk about military and vassals. So when you want to talk about military and waging war, you need to talk about claims, and we have a de jure claim over Desmond over here. So what a de jure claim is you have a claim on a title or county that is a de jure part of your kingdom or petite kingdom, as we have here, as we are at the moment. And you can see if something is part of your kingdom or duchy or something by the map, via the map. And there's a map mode, de jure duchies. You don't really have to worry, you can just see all the de jure duchies in the game, all the de jure kingdoms and all the de jure empires. So if something is a de jure part of your kingdom or duchy, then it should be it was part of your duchy for a long time, so it's considered part of your duchy. And if it's not part of your duchy or it's independent, you have a claim on it. You can then press your claim and reunite it with your duchy or kingdom. You don't really have to worry with these map modes, since you can always see if you have a de jure claim by this little pop-up over here. So we know we have a de jure claim on Desmond. There are a few ways to get claims. Of course, there is a claim by birthright. There are a few more complicated ways to get them, but the easiest way is just to send your counselor to fabricate a claim on a county that you would like. And since this is just a startup tutorial, I'm not going to go into fabricating claims, getting claims in more difficult ways, since you just want to start playing the game, and most of the time you can find that out by yourself. I will of course also do a more advanced guide later on. So we have a claim, we want to press this claim, of course. There are a few things we need to consider before we go to war. One is, can we beat him? What's the amount of troops he has? And we can see that by hitting this realm tree button over here and hovering over this 100%. And you can see top levies of liege, but you want to look at current levy of top liege. And you see that he has 791 troops, which is also the maximum number of troops he can get. So we know how many troops he has. Now we can look at how many troops we have by hitting this little military button over here. And we see that we have 930 troops from our own demise and 13 troops from our vassals. To increase the number of troops you get, there are a few ways. The first way is by increasing the opinion of your vassals. Since your vassals give you an amount of troops based on how much they like you, they will not give you a lot of troops if they dislike you. As you can see, he doesn't really like me and he's giving me no troops at all. Another way is to increase a few laws. I'm not going to go into laws just yet, but we'll touch on that later. So there are three kinds of vassals that you need to worry about. If you're a noble vassal, and most of the time noble vassals hold the higher ranking titles, like they control a piece of land. Like this one here, he has the county of Ormond. Or they control, if you're an empire, they control a kingdom within your empire, or something like that. They control a duchy. That are most often the noble vassals, and they just they inherited it by birthright, or you appointed them to be of the nobility. They have your city vassals, and these are your mayors, the ones that just run your cities, and you most of the time don't have a lot of them. Same with your church vassals, the third one. You don't have a lot of them because they are actually under your noble vassals or the higher ranking vassals. Because both a mayor and a church vassal can also gain a higher title, but then they will become an archbishop or a republic. So all types of vassals are important in their own way. The church vassal and your city vassals don't give you a lot of troops. Even if they like you, a big deal, they don't give you that much troops compared to your noble vassals. And your church vassals actually don't give you any if they are loyal to the Pope. So how church vassals work is they like the Pope by an amount, and they like you. If they like the Pope more than you, they are loyal to the Pope and they only pledge their troops, and they also give all their tax money to the Pope instead of you. So you always want to, or you want to change a law that changes that rule, or you want to let them like you a lot more than the Pope. You can do this by improving relations, improving religious relations with your chaplain, or you can just send them a few gifts or something, send them gold, they'll start liking you a lot more. But we don't want to actually improve the opinion of our church vassal just yet, because they don't really have that much troops. The most important one that we want to improve is our noble vassal. And how we're going to do that, there are a few ways. You can let them educate your child, but we don't really have young children that we can let them educate. You can give him an honorary title or a landed title. They'll like both, but an honorary title is a title that doesn't really do something, but it's a title that holds, that gives you a lot of prestige. It's a great honor to have that title, like the cupbearer. All these titles are, the names of the titles are a bit flavor. If you hover over them, you see how much opinion you'll gain with them if you give them this title. So cupbearer gives you plus 15, so we're going to give him cupbearer to increase his opinion a bit, and we're going to send him a gift, which is the third way to increase his opinion of you. And we're going to give him 44 gold because he's quite greedy and wants a lot of it, and he'll gain 32 opinion, so we'll give him that as well. Then the other way to increase, so now his levies have increased a lot. From vassals you now get 168, which is quite a bit more. The last thing we're going to do is actually increase feudal levies. So you have all these laws, and feudal levies is how much of their army they need to give you. Your noble vassals need to give you. So we can go up to maximum, and it will only give us a -5 opinion penalty, which is not that much compared to other opinion penalties, and it's easily worth it because they will give us their entire levies. So we'll go up to max, and if you pass a law, as I'm doing now, everybody needs to vote on it if you're a higher title, but because we are only a petite king, or we only have a duchy, we can just pass it immediately. And then the other laws that you have is feudal taxation. This is how much your nobles are being taxed, and now it's none, but this does give quite a penalty if you go higher up, like -30 if you tax them harsh. Then you have city vassal levies. This is how much men your mayors and your city vassals need to give you. City taxation is how much you tax your city vassals, and church levies and church taxation, which is the same for your church vassals. So now we did a few things to increase our levies, and as you see, now we have quite a lot more troops. We have more troops than our friend over here. So we're going to declare war and raise our troops and hit play. So declare war, you choose the claim or the reason to go to war, and send. So now we are at war. We haven't raised our troops yet, we don't see his troops yet, but what we're going to talk about is this little screen here. You see that there's a percentage here, and that's your war score. If you get up to 100% war score, you can just press your claim. You can say, we won, we've 100%, he can't do anything about it, and you win. So the more war score you have, the more willing he is to offer peace and give you your war goal. The reason you went to war. You can never take more than the reason you went to war in this game. So if I would take all of Ireland, he was allied with England, France, and I would occupy all the territory, I could only get Desmond, because that was the reason I went to war. As you see, he will not accept when I enforce demands. He will also not accept white peace, and he will accept surrender. So enforce demands is you've gained enough war score, you've won enough battles, that he's like, okay, you've won, I concede, I surrender. And you send him like an enforced demand. You send like, okay, you've lost, I want my prize now. Now white peace is you lose prestige because, well, you lost the war. You didn't really win. It's kind of standstill, but because you're the attacker, you basically lose. And surrender is you lose completely. You lose a lot of gold, prestige. He can never gain any of your titles, but you can lose a lot of prestige and gold in surrendering. You give up, you've lost. You only really want to do that if you are completely being destroyed, because you can come back in a few ways when you're losing a war, mainly by mercenaries. And this is another way to gain troops. As you see, you can hire mercenaries. It will cost, if I take the top one here for example, if I want to hire them, it will cost me 450 gold to just hire them. This is the price I need to pay them to come to me and fight. They will then appear in my capital, and every month cost me 22.14 gold. As you can see, I will get 4,500 troops for that. I'll gain 900 light infantry, 2,610 heavy infantry, 90 heavy cavalry, and 900 archers. That will then join my army. But since I'm little Munster, I don't have the money to hire nor the money to maintain them. So I'm just going to fight with my own demise and my vassals' levies. So we're going to raise our troops, and what this does is it raises our troops. You see these three numbers over here? Well, that's raised. This is, I now have 930 from my own demise raised. This is how many troops I have active right now. Then you have unraised. These are troops that I can gain. You need to see it a bit as the reserves. You can raise them, you can call upon them to go to war, but they're not active right now. And then your total, the total number of troops you could get at this point. So if you increase the opinion of your vassals, the total, the max total will go up. And we are not at the total at our maximum number of troops from our own demise, because, well, when we start the game we have, I think we lost a few men, and this will just replenish over time. You'll gain unraised levies over time until you are at your max total. So we have our troops. We're going to want to combine them, but for now I'm first going to talk about this screen. So you see your army. You have a leader of the army. You see what type of troops are in the army. You see the number of the army over here. If you you have a few options. You can disband them. If you disband them, it's not, if it's in your own territory, everybody will return home. You can just raise them again, no problem. If it's in somebody else's land, then you will lose troops if you disband them. So you never really want to disband your troops when you are at war and you're at the highest number of levies you can get. You can split in half, so you just divide the divisions. And the most important part is, well, how much troops you have and the leaders, because you always want to have a leader, and it's not automatically assigned. I can only actually choose the middle leader because I don't have the authority to choose any other leaders. But so you want to choose your leader based upon his martial skill. So I see I now chose the leader with 40 martial skill because that's the highest martial. There are a few other factors like his training or if he has any special abilities, but that's more advanced. You don't really have to worry about it. Just pick the one with the highest martial skill. You have a good leader. So another thing you want to worry about when you go to war, if he has an army over here, which he will raise in a second if I unpause. Yeah, there's his army, and it's a bit bigger than I expected, but I think we can still beat it. You need to watch out for this little icon. This means that a river flows between two provinces, like Thormund, where our army is in, and Desmond, where his army is in. And if I were to attack straight on through from Thormund to Desmond, I would lose. I would gain, well, I wouldn't lose directly, but I would have a disadvantage because I have to cross a river, and a river crossing penalty is quite harsh, and I don't really want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check. Yeah, it's only between Thormund and Desmond, so I'm going to go to Ormond, and I'm going to apologize for my pronunciation of all these names, but yeah, what do you do about this? So we're going to hit play again. I'm going to lower the speed a little bit. And, well, now our heir is married. We have two options. We can gain prestige or wealth. Since we are at war, I think I'm going to take the gold, so I can maintain my army a bit longer. If it's okay, yeah. Now we married. We have the same two options. I'm also going to choose the gold again. We actually have an ally because we married the King of Navarra, and this is a good excuse to talk a bit about alliances. So what it says here is if they are going to accept your call to arms. You can send a call to arms to all your strong allies. And you don't really have to worry, go through your list of allies or something. If you can call them to arms, there will be a little pop-up again, just like the de jure claim. So why not call them to arms? Like, why not ask our allies for help? Now, we send our diplomat out. We're saying, like, with this war going on, we need your help. Can you come and help us? What I just did is merge my troops together. So if I would split them, if you have a few other troops, this little button will merge all the units you have selected in the same tile. You also want to have the units together in one big army. I think you only have to appoint 3 leaders then, and can split them off later on if you need it. We're going to pick a new ambition, and let's ask for a daughter. Since we already have a son and a good heir. So now our troops. We have our troops. We don't have a river crossing penalty. What else do we need to look out for? Well, you see this little green bar over here. This is your average morale. And if your morale hits 0, your troops flee. They give up. So you want to have this as high as possible before you attack. You just want to get this up to 100% or 99%. Just as high as possible. Once you've done that, you can attack. If this green bar is full, your troops are ready to attack. And as you see, okay, our troop, our ally, which is the King of Navarra. So this king over here just answered this call to arms. He raised his troops, and he might actually come to us if he has a bit of a fleet. So, but we don't really have to worry about it because I think we have a good chance to win this on our own, since we have a bit more troops. So yes, we're just going to let some time go by as we wait for the troops. And we also actually have a weak claim, and what a weak claim does is it's a claim for somebody within your family or court. I think actually only your court, within your court, maybe also your family, that you can press on another kingdom or title. So we could try and take the Kingdom of Hungary because our daughter-in-law, the daughter that I married to my son, has a claim on it. We will not gain the Kingdom of Hungary if we are not an empire, or if the vassal that if the person that we're pressing the claim for isn't our vassal. So you also want to give them land before you press that, but you don't really need to worry about it that much for now, because we're just going to go with de jure claims. And I'm actually going to on the 18th of March, I'm going to place my chancellor to fabricate a claim on Austria. And okay, we're going to hit play. We're now going to attack them. And how you attack? Well, you just move your troops to where their troops are, and they'll automatically go into battle. And I'm hoping we're going to win this. Otherwise, this is going to be a little bit harder to pull off. But we should. I have almost never actually lost this war. Most of the time you just win. And I'm just going to speed it up just a bit. It actually looks like we're slightly winning, but not with much. We actually lost. Okay, this makes this very interesting, and now I'm hoping our ally over here, right, you are still our ally, is coming to help us. And so, okay, we've taken some losses. You see our maximum is now a lot higher than our current, so we just re-raise, and this will actually lower all your troops, and then you'll call out all the reserves and everything together to try and we might actually even have a bit more because our vassal just liked us even more. And as you see, we have a much bigger army right now, and we can just, well, try again. So we'll appoint a leader again, we'll move all the troops together, wait until our morale is up a bit, and try to crush his troops one more time. And this was actually a bit of a surprise for me that we lost that, but well, it happens. So yeah, okay, I'm going to try and attack again since it's 8-3. Well, no, we're just going to wait a bit longer. We really want to be at our maximum strength, and let's go. So we're going to try and crush them, and as you see, the numbers are rising each month. And I actually hope our ally will come in. I don't see his troops anywhere anymore. Maybe he's on some ships coming our way, but I doubt it. No. Well, okay, we are crushing his troops this time. We destroyed him, and what we now get is this little siege, which we actually can't. We don't have the number of troops to siege this little tile, this county. So these are the defending troops, these are the attacking troops. If my number is higher than his number, every month his morale will lower until it's 0, and then we occupy this tile. But since we don't have enough troops, this is going to be quite hard. We are just going to crush his army one more time, and then lower and re-raise, and hopefully we can actually win over this tile. And if we can't after this, I'm just going to skip forward a bit to a point where we can, so I can explain this. But what you want to do is just keep fighting off, killing his armies, and try and gain as much men as possible. If you, most of the time you win actually the first battle if you have increased the opinion of your vassal, or waited until you were at your maximum levy size instead of just rushing in there. So we now have 800 men. I think we might have enough to crush his to besiege him. If we don't have enough, I'm just going to skip forward to the point where we do have enough to besiege him. And no, we're missing a bit. And he's of course also his numbers are rising too, so I'm going to skip ahead. Okay, and we're back. So I'm going to go through what I did because it took just a bit more time, and I would have thought that I needed to wait longer than I had. But so I increased, well, I waited for my levies to replenish. I increased the levies I got from vassals by increasing all their opinions with a combination of gifts and titles. By my bishop here, I appointed him to my council, which also gives you quite a high increase, opinion increase. I think about 20. Let's see how much it is. And it's, yeah, plus 15. So that's the first thing I did. The second thing what I did is send him a gift and give him a title. And I give my mayor, I give him a title. And well, the levies I got from them increased quite dramatically. Also because I was improving the opinion of noble vassal. He got to 100, so he's giving me all his levies. And we now have an army of 1400 men, and he has an army of 538 men. We're just going to let our morale replenish a bit, and I'm playing on speed 3 now just to speed things up a little bit. I'm going to go down to 2 maybe, so you can see what I'm going to keep it on 3 for now, because it's a lot of war, just fighting. This goes faster, and our ally is actually never going to show up, I think, because he doesn't have any ships and he's busy over there. So one of my brothers is concerned he's not married. Yeah, we'll find him someone nice, but I'm not going to deal with that just yet. These are just random events that can pop up if people want something from you. You don't really have to worry about it. You can figure those things out really easily by just looking at what the effects are when you're playing yourself. And I might give you the tip to, when you attack, actually wait a bit longer, increase your opinions and increase your armies a bit more before you attack. I was a bit overconfident there, so my good friend died and his son inherited his title. But that's okay, because we already have his troops, and that won't just diminish his troops if the son doesn't want to give you any. But it's okay, so we're now just going to wait for the siege, and as you see, every month it goes down with minus 3.6 because of the number of troops, the leader, and we do have a leader, but I think because he's not the center leader, he doesn't show. Another option that you have is this, and this is assault. So you charge on the holding, climb the walls, use ladders, whatever. You try to just take it by force. You only want to do this if you have 10 times more their troops. So he has 669 troops right now. So I will only attack it if I have 6,690 troops. If the ratio is 1 to 10, then you can assault with minimal losses, and it's worth doing so because it's a lot faster. I now have double the number of troops, but it will not be worth it because I might actually lose it. You lose a lot of troops and just destroys your army. So just be patient, wait for the siege to end when you're playing this little newbie island game and conquering Ireland. So we're still waiting. I'm going to increase the speed a bit more until the siege ends. And after that we can look at peace negotiations a bit more, but you actually already know all the options. We're just going to send a peace, and then I'll show you a bit more in vassal management, because if we win, because he still has a claim on his own land, he's just going to be part of my country and he's not going to like me a lot. So I'm going to try and increase my opinion of him a bit and try to gain a new claim. But so yeah, even now I don't want to assault him because the morale will go up a bit and we'll lose a lot. So we now took the holding. As you can see, this is who it should be, and this is the occupier, so me. I now have it. You see these little dotted lines. If these are full lines, then you'll actually have occupied all the holdings, because even though I have the main capital, the castle city, which is the capital of this county, I don't have the city of Cork or the bishopry in the same area. So now I'm besieging the city, which is going really well because the defenses are a lot lower. Well, there you go. We took that, and I'm going to look at the victory screen after I took the bishopry, because I forgot to do that. And yeah, so we're just going to wait around a bit more. You do see leaders, but in a siege it only affects it a slight bit. If you want to change a leader actually while you're sieging something, you just pause the game, set them to walk, so you gain this screen. As you can see, we can't really change anything, we're leading this army ourselves. And after that, just place it back and you'll be at the same progress as you were. So it's really easy to, you just need to know these kinds of things, and that gets easier. The last thing that's up here is actually that your vassals will start disliking you because you have their levies raised. You like took their armies, their men, and you're fighting off somewhere. They don't like it if you take their men. So that's what this indicates. But we're almost done with this war. Actually, we could enforce demands already, but so the victory screen. You see the casualties. We didn't lose anything because it was a siege. The survivors, this all speaks for itself. Like the troop you had, the troop you have now, are all in this little box. The garrison left, so what the defenders lost and what you gain from it. So this is more important. So like prestige, or you can gain prestige or piety from it, and gold. And this will just be located here, and that's all you need to know. So we did gain a lot of gold by this war, and now we're going to enforce our demands because, well, we won. So we can now say we won, we get this, he can't do anything about it, and we won. We got this little pop-up, and now he is our vassal. We actually imprisoned his wife, so we can talk about prisoners and intrigue in the next episode. But for now we're going to, well, he doesn't like us. He actually hates us because we declared war, and he doesn't really hate us for taking his land, he just doesn't like us for declaring war. So we're going to give him another title. These titles do run out, so I gave the until they die, like we can also revoke it, I believe. If I go to my my bishop here, who I gave a title, yeah, I can revoke it, but they won't like it, like -35. It's almost never worth doing, and if you're desperate to increase somebody's opinion. So I'm going to give him the title of cupbearer, who was from the father of this little boy over here, and I'm going to actually send him a gift as well to, yeah, make him like me a bit more. Might actually ransom his wife, now he doesn't have the gold, and I'm going to also send him a gift so they all like me. And you always want your vassals to like you, because if they don't like you, they join factions and try to kill you and try to take over. So we're going to lower our troops again, and yeah, we now need to wait for a new title, a new claim to get fabricated, which we can do with our chancellor, or in a few other ways, which I'm going to cover next episode. I'm going to cover intrigue, a few ways to gain claims, and we're going to continue taking over Ireland. And if you start your own game, you can actually do exactly what I'm doing right now, and you get in almost the same position. I might get a claim on Ossory over here, and you might get a claim on Kildare, but the basics are all the same, and you might win your first war faster, or you might have a different wife, stuff like that, but all the basics will be the same. So I want to thank you for watching. I hope you learned anything. If you have any questions, things you need to know that I didn't explain clearly, please leave a comment, and I'll see you next time.